Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast.
Sneakers and Cleats podcast. It is Thursday, September 11th. This is episode 225. Matt Roy, Chuck Miketinac, Bob Gambert, Luis Escamilla over there running the smooth keys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, News 4 Fox SA. Download, rate, review the podcast version if you are so inclined. We have a lot to get to. Spurs hosting a fan tryout, I guess. They want to vet some people for their special fan section. The Cowboys have lost a corner, and it's a corner they've lost before. And our TNL preview, South Sand and John Jay. But I do want to start with the most important thing we'll get to today, which is a moment of silence for the 24th anniversary of one of the darkest days in our nation's history, 9/11, 2001, where 2,977 people died in Virginia and Pennsylvania, and of course in New York City, 2,753 of which died in New York, 353 different fire department representatives there. Throughout the morning show this morning, we went through and listened to a lot of the stuff that was going on in New York and the memorial that's going on there. This is what it sounded like in New York City, 9:03 Eastern time this morning, which is when 24 years ago, the second plane hit the South Tower. So this is the moment of silence that they observed then. Sorry, it's too long of a silence. Rudy Giuliani was there. President Trump, his wife Melania was there. A lot of people there this morning. They read all 2,977 names, as they do every year, as we all never forget the importance of today. Chuck, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, it brings back a lot of memories from that day. I mean, my wife, Melissa, and I enjoyed the birth of our third child, Natalie, just 5 days before, and my memories of that are fairly vivid, I think, for a lot of people that lived through it, and especially if you're working in a newsroom at the time when this all went down. But yeah, I mean, it was stunning. I mean, I stayed up late that night because it was my turn to do the feedings, and so my wife came in. I don't remember, it was like 9 or 9:15. She said, "Hey, they're bombing the buildings in New York," and I just kind of rolled over and went, I didn't even know what to make of it. I obviously made no sense of it, and I went back to sleep, and I think I slept about another 30 minutes, and I think it hit me after I woke up. It's like, wait, did she say something about... And then my dad happened to be in town too. He was in for a visit, and we were supposed to take him to the airport later that day. My dad's retired military, and then so to have conversations with him in real time what was going on, and I just remember him saying, there's no way an operation like this could have been pulled off without us knowing. It's impossible. And that really resonated with me, and him also being sad at the same time how we as a nation, those that were in a position of power, how we in that moment had really failed the citizens of the United States. I mean, it's still really hard to wrap your head around a lot of the details of what occurred and put into words, and then to come to work and then instantly just jump into what the day unfolded and, doing news stories that day, and then getting word later in the day, oh, that's right, my cousin Lisa, her husband Frank, works in Manhattan, what's going on with him? And then we couldn't get in touch with anybody up there. And then luckily, as a matter of fate, my cousin's husband, Frank, was ill that day and didn't go into work. So, I mean, there was a sigh of relief there, obviously, but just, a lot of emotions. And, obviously for that area too, it's, if you've ever gone to that site after the event, I actually did. I went to the 9/11 site while they were building the new tower, and I didn't have any idea where I was going, and I just had an innate sense of where I needed to be, if that makes any sense. Like, I had a feeling it was like, no, we need to go this way. You could feel a strange energy, even, it had been a few years after the tragedy took place. I mean, just surreal in many ways, and, still some questions, quite frankly, in the aftermath.
I was 5 when it happened, but I still remember exactly where I was. Don't look at me like that, Luis. I was 5. I was in first grade. I was literally walking to class, and then we hear over the intercom, "Everybody get to class now." And so we're all just barricaded in our classroom, and our teacher's trying to, Mr. Morway, he was trying to, incognito find out what was happening and, pull back sobs. And I can still, imagine his face, because none of us knew what was going on, but he knew what was going on. And so it was all pretty crazy. But I mentioned it this morning on the morning show that moment, which is one of the worst times in American history, gave birth to one of the best moments in American history, which was May 2nd, 2011, when Osama bin Laden was killed. And Obama was able to give that speech. And it was like a full circle moment of the horror and terror that happened. Obviously could never bring back those near 3,000 lives, but it was like the most healing moment that I've ever seen or ever witnessed. I was at a Stagecoach, the music festival, country music festival in Southern California, and the act that was up, you could start hearing a murmur through the crowd. And this act that was up was Rascal Flatts, and they come on the mic and they said, "We got him, y'all." And then everyone goes crazy. 100,000 people going nuts with American flags and everyone hugging each other, kissing each other. It was not like that, but in happiness. And it was just the most healing moment that I could ever imagine. And then you see people, retired military, first responders crying and just so happy that it's over. It's like this reign of terror is done that they've dealt with for 10 years. And so it was... We couldn't go, and I know this is a sports podcast, and we're going to get to sports right now, but there's no having this day without that being mentioned. So glad we spent the first 10 minutes or so talking about it. Bob, Luis, you guys want to add anything before we move on?
I was numb from the death of Charlie Kirk, and so this 9/11 hit me a little differently. It's like it was just overshadowed, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, now you remember both days, the day before 9/11 and the day of, for different tragic events. And also, now that you've mentioned it, a heartfelt condolences and sympathies to his family. And that's, no matter what your beliefs are, political violence is never the answer. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that stuff. But let's get to some fun stuff. There's no easy transition away from that. So let's just... Period, new sentence. Spurs are looking to build their fan base in San Antonio and in the Frostbank Center in a pretty unique way. Also, area code 225, you got any guesses?
None.
Bob?
I don't know.
I should start doing some homework before I show up here.
Don't cheat like Don.
He got caught.
Don cheated last time. It's Louisiana. It's Baton Rouge.
Oh, Red Stick. Very nice.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana, separated from the 532 back in 1998.
Always a nice stop right before you pull into Nolans on I-10.
Yeah, so the Spurs are holding tryouts on Sunday for super fans that they want to be in a specific section of the Frostbank Center. I believe it's right behind the visitors' basket. For all home games. It's loosely modeled after Wemby's favorite team, Paris Saint-Germain, the European soccer club in, I'm forgetting the league. It's not La Liga. I'm a dumbass for forgetting the league, but it's a French soccer league out there.
I hope you're not asking me.
No, I wasn't going to because I knew you wouldn't know, but I know it, and I'm forgetting it for some reason. But anyway, so...
Somebody in the chat know?
Yeah, I'm sure I can look it up
Bob
real quick.
and Luis are holding back. I know they know.
Yeah, Bob's...
I can't believe people go and watch people play soccer. That's crazy.
Football. Luis might know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You know what's crazy? Being a Browns fan.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Oh, hey.
I agree. It ain't easy.
So, in short, Wembanyama and the Spurs are looking for some high-energy fans who can commit to attending at least 75% of the team's home games and are willing to participate in chants and rituals and be named this certain group, which they haven't come up with the name yet, while all supporting with passion and respect. There's a $999 membership cost. To be in the new club, it comes with privileges such as discounts and a chance to meet surprise special guests. However, it doesn't give you tickets to the games. You still have to buy tickets. You just get to sit in this certain fan section and be part of this special group that is coached essentially by Victor, and he has no doubt will help them win games. This is what Wemby had to say yesterday before we give our take on it.
We're gonna hold what do you call, like a selection, try to notice who are the very most dedicated amongst the dedicated, and hold tryouts, have practices just like we do with the team, and figure out what chants we want, what name, what logo, and what messages we want to tell the world in the NBA.
Chuck, what are your thoughts?
Just keep it clean. Coach them up and keep it clean, right? We need more fans that are willing to keep it on the PG level so that it's a fan-friendly, fun environment when you go to a ball game. Let's keep it fun. Keep it fun.
As someone who watches soccer, and besides Luis, probably the only person in this room who watches soccer regularly, it's a scene at Euro soccer games. Like, it is nuts.
Yeah, and it's rough, too.
Yeah, I mean,
going to a Raiders game in Oakland was tough. You ain't seen nothing on some of these other
I mean,
ones.
it is rough. You got to keep it clean, yes, but that's what American sports are really missing is, like, you go to a European soccer event, and yes, you kind of have to have a lot of fun in the crowd because there's only like 3 goals a match, or sometimes no goals in a match, and it's a tie, and everyone's like, yay, or boo.
They say nil.
Yeah, 0-0. 0-0 in the match.
And they say pitch.
They do.
We're not talking baseball.
So, I mean, it looks like they're having a lot of fun. I've never been to Europe. I've never been to a European soccer match. But it looks like they do it right when it comes to fandom, when it comes to the sheer, not vitriol, but passion that comes from those fans. And they're able to have a bunch of chants. And anyone who watched Ted Lasso knows kind of the Jamie Tart, and those kinds of things that you're able to kind of have during a European soccer match. So if that is what happens at Spurs games, I am all for it. That sounds like a whole lot of fun. I mean, doesn't it? Like, wouldn't you like to see that if you go to a Spurs game and you just see, 5,000 fans just on their feet the entire match, having entire game, jumping up and down and yelling and chanting and.
Yeah, and something tells me I'm not the target audience.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you are.
What sounds like a nice promotion.
What I think will be great is Sunday when they have the tryout 7 to 9 o'clock over at Freeman Coliseum. I think it'll be hilarious if we do a package on it and just like get people to go crazy and show us what's your tryout going to look like. What are you going to do? You get over there?
Sounds like we got a story coming.
I just think it would be funny. I think it'd be so funny to go out there and just have people do their tryout. Like, it would. What are they going to do? How do you try out for a fan?
Yeah, that was my question. What is this going to be like?
Yeah,
just keep it clean, y'all.
Will there be
Just keep it
sprints?
clean.
Chuck's no fun. All right, let's get on to the
Hold
Cowboys.
up, there's an important question
Okay,
from Robert
important
Smith in the.
Is it Tom Guerrero?
Tom, are you there?
Oh, it's
I don't see
Robert.
him.
All right, Robert Smith.
He said,
You can see from
why
that far?
did we get rid of the silver dancers again? That's a question I've always had. Why did they get rid of the silver dancers?
I don't know that answer.
Think about the time we were in and the hashtags that were going around. That's why they canceled the silver.
When did they
Dancers.
cancel the Silver Dancers?
Yeah,
When did they?
it was.
It was the height of Me Too, right?
Yeah,
Oh, that would make sense.
yeah.
Anyway,
Destroying the dreams of a lot of girls that like to.
This is a
dance
really wide-ranging podcast.
Yes.
Let's get to the Cowboys. I don't know what we can delve into there. Deron Bland is going to be out Sunday for the Giants, or against the Giants. Could miss multiple weeks with a foot injury. He missed 10 games with a foot injury last year. Luckily, it was to his other foot. I don't even know if that's luckily. Coincidentally, it was to his other foot. What's the panic level?
I don't know. I see memes all over the internet right now with the bat signal going up and everybody, not everybody, but some that want to see Stephon Gilmore sign. I thought that would be pretty cool if that were to happen to kind of fill the gap.
Yeah, sign a 36-year-old.
Hey, so what? I mean, the last time we saw him, he could play and play well. So, I don't know what it would cost him to get a Stephon Gilmore. I think they're going through that right
Probably
now
not
with Clowney. But I don't know. I mean, it's week 2. I don't want to be pushing any panic buttons, but of course, having said that, if the Cowboys find a way to lose Sunday, I think there will be definite reason to panic if they lose to the Giants at home.
I mean, Dak's really, really good against the Giants, historically great against the Giants, so I don't think they lose. But even without Deron Bland, however, I think there's definitely reason to panic. You have 2 highly paid cornerbacks, and they never play together. They can't stay on the field for more than a game or two and play at the same time. Like, you're paying more than that, almost $50 million for 2 guys on Bland who cannot stay on the field. And it's like, now that you just gave Deron Bland that money, you're at least signed up for this for 2 more seasons. It's like, he had 1 good year. And now you're giving him $26 million a season for the next 4 years, and he can't get on the field.
Well, to be fair, he had a good rookie year too. So he had one
2 good
electric
years,
year,
and he's had 2 bad years. 1 injured and 1 not great.
Well, I'll agree to disagree on that. I mean, I think he's had 2 phenomenal years. That's why they paid him. But to your point, I mean, it's a concern that, yes, now that's 2 years in a row, you have a player with a foot injury. But again, this is going to happen during the course of a long, very long season. And if you look at the Giants injury report, they had more guys sitting out on a Wednesday than what the Cowboys had. So this is the way it has to be, right? You pay your very best players. The hope is that they can all stay healthy. The reality is, how many of them actually do?
But it's just not a great look for a guy who's now your 4th highest paid player on the team and already missed 10 games with a foot injury last year, and now in the second game, before the second game of the season, he's out with another foot injury.
Well, I mean,
to the different
are
foot.
you blaming Deron Bland for playing hard and getting hurt? I mean, that's
I'm not blaming him for getting.
That's
I'm
the
not
caveat.
blaming him for playing hard. I'll never blame anyone
football,
for playing hard.
This is what happens.
Yeah, it just seems that there's players that get hurt more than others. And if I was a fan, I'd be like, oh no, we let Micah go to pay this guy, and sure enough, he's injured by week 2. So I mean, that's what would go through my head if I was a Cowboys fan. Plus, corner's already a really big issue for them. Kyer Elam got smoked on a lot of by what's his name, the third receiver over Jahan Dotson over at in that Eagles game consistently. And Andrew Booth has been a journeyman for a reason, and you don't know what's behind them. Kalen Carson hasn't been that great, so now you have one of those guys starting as the outside, and the other guy, Andrew Booth, probably being thrust into the slot, and you have a really big concern in your secondary.
Well, they are going to have to get some pressure. That's usually the key, really, to a lot of defensive backs' success. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think both teams are a little nicked up to begin the season, but so are a lot of other teams, right? I mean, nobody's ever going to be 100% whole, more than likely. And show me the ones that are the most healthy at the end of the year. Those are probably going to be the ones that are in the playoffs, and then not only that, make deep runs.
Speaking of getting pressure on the quarterback, they brought in Jadeveon Clowney. Yesterday, he left without a contract. Should they kind of pony up and get him on the roster?
So I guess it depends on what the Cowboys really think of him, and it sounds like they think a lot of him to get to this point, right? I mean, you could say, well, he's a little long in the tooth, he's this, there's a reason why he's sitting on the sidelines, all that other stuff. That would all be right. But he still had 5.5 sacks last year. He's got 58 for his career. He's another wide-bodied guy that can still move around a little bit, and he'd be an excellent rotation player, I think, if they could sign him. But to Schottenheimer's point, which is, it takes 2 to tango. I mean, we don't know if there are other teams that are also courting Jadeveon Clowney or at this very moment have now created some leverage because they know that the Cowboys can sign him.
What does someone being long in the tooth mean?
It means that he's old.
I didn't know that.
I realized that would be the pot calling the kettle black, calling somebody old at any
Pot
stage
calling
of
the
their
kettle
career, football or otherwise. But yes, in terms of his football career, he's seasoned. I should have said
Seasoned.
that.
Okay.
Seasoned. Not
See,
long in the
I
tooth.
honestly didn't know what the expression meant. You use expressions sometimes, and I'm just like, I don't
I feel like, well, probably long in the tooth is something that maybe Bob would understand.
I
but
definitely, yeah. I'm
probably
kinda surprised
nobody
you never
else in
heard
the
that.
room.
Is that because Bob's
Shout
long
out
in the
Luis
tooth?
and
I'm
Luis's youth.
old.
Yes,
Yeah, you guys are.
not a very contemporary reference.
You guys are
I'll
all.
give you that.
You guys are all seasoned.
We're all long in the tooth.
You're all long in the tooth. All right, let's get to high school football here. So TNL top 10 for week 3. Brennan stays on top because they beat Smithson Valley last week. It was a hell of a ball game over at Gus that we had on TNL. It was kind of a cluster just because it was Cowboys opening night as well. But great game. Great game at Gus.
It really was. And, I think we talked about it on the broadcast, right? I don't think we were going to be worried about either team long term, win or lose. The way Brennan really stepped it up after the slow start was they just
It's an avalanche.
got that. That was a very good way of actually putting it. That came to my mind as well. But just their relentlessness and nobody quit, nobody gave up, nobody panicked, right? And then also too, Carlos Sanchez is top 10, looking pretty darn firm right now with his initial picks for the most part.
I have a couple of issues that we'll get to in a little bit
Okay.
about a certain team that is not even on my first page here, which is a problem. So Brennan is now 2-0. They'll play Sotomayor Saturday, Ferris Stadium. Soto has never beat Brennan. They've only been around for 4 years, so they're 0-4. But Soto's been really close to winning a couple of games this year. I mean, they went, we'll get to it in a little bit, but they had a really tough game last week against Brandeis. Steele is 2-0. They're number 2 in our TNL top 10. They beat Reagan last week, so now Reagan's 2 losses are to our top 2 teams, Steele and Brennan. So nothing to sneeze at for Reagan. They lost 28-13. Brandeis is their next game. Steele will host Brandeis at Lenhoff. Steele now has 23 regular season wins total, consecutive.
Wow.
Over the last 3 seasons. That's nothing, or 4 seasons technically.
Yeah,
that's
especially
nothing to
because
sneeze
of
at,
who
so.
they schedule early on in the
Yeah.
year, right? They're never scheduling the quote-unquote Sisters of the Poor.
Yeah, never scheduling cupcakes. Harlan is number 3. They defeated Madison 28-24 last week. Your Madison Mavericks are pretty frisky this year with
They have
Blaine
been,
Peterson.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
They're playing a lot
Blaine doing
better than
nice
they were last
job.
year.
They got a receiver over there that's pretty good, don't they?
Yeah, Jordan Clay, pretty damn good. Harlan is off this week, so they have a bye week. They'll play Brennan next week. That's intentional from Coach Salas. You want your biggest game coming right off a bye, so especially because Jivery Graham, their star running back, who's going to. I'm gonna kick myself because I'm forgetting who he's going.
I am
where
too.
Where
Now
he's
that
going.
you said it, it's like,
I want to say Baylor, but I know
and
it's
I
wrong.
want to say SMU,
It's one of those two.
and we're probably both wrong.
Probably hell of a game
So let's move
between
around.
those two last week. They play Brennan next week, so they will stay stagnant. But Jiver Graham is hurt, and so he gets a week kind of to heal up before the Brennan game, which is going to be a banger over at Ferris Stadium next week. Johnson defeated Piper last week. Johnson's a 6A team. Piper's a 5A team. Take that for what you will. Piper lost 31-22 to Johnson behind 4 picks. 4 picks, and they still only lost by 9 points, Piper. So Piper is still on this TNL top 10 for a reason, but Johnson is, I would argue that Johnson should be higher on this list. But we'll give Carlos his grace here. But Johnson's a very good team and can make a run.
Yeah, we saw them week 1, and I just, we talked about it last week, right? You love that they're good, but you love that they've thrown it out there. Like, a run of the state championship is within the cards, we feel like.
Yeah, number 5 is the New Braunfels Unicorns. They won the worst bowl last week. Not worst as in WORST, WURST.
I don't think you needed to explain that to anybody up in here. In here?
Some people listen from other places.
We have international listeners.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's true.
What about the people in Paris that tune in for Wemby? If then they're continuing to listen.
fair
to this?
enough.
First of all, thank you.
I stand corrected.
Anyway, they New Braunfels won 41-15 over Canyon last week. They played Del Rio in Del Rio
we might be
this Friday.
sleeping on them a little bit too with their quick start.
New Braunfels are really good. Plus, they just destroyed Jay last year in the playoffs. Like Brad Mulder's got those guys cooking. So Smithson Valley falls to 6. It's a pretty far fall Carlos.
Okay. Well, I mean, that would be fair.
I would put that a little higher.
It's not where you start, it's where you finish.
I guess so. Last week they lost to Brennan, obviously. They play Madison this week, 7 o'clock at Ranger Stadium on Friday. This is their last non-district game before getting into district play. Brandeis is 2-0. They are number 7 in our TNL top 10. They defeated Soto, as I alluded to earlier, in triple overtime last week at Ferris Stadium. 48-46 in triple OT. So a hell of a game. They've had 2 really close games, Brandeis. Their first game, they were up 35-0 or 35-3 on O'Connor. O'Connor came all the way back, took the lead at 38-35, and then Brandeis scored a late touchdown. And then this one, they win in triple OT. I think Keamy Lewis is aging by the day. Double. So
not as long as you're winning, right?
I mean, they got a tough one against Steele. They're 1-8 all time against Steele in this rivalry. They play Friday at Lenhoff 7:30. Piper is 1-1. They lost to Johnson. They play Davenport this week at Warrior Stadium 7:30 on Friday. This is the one I have an issue with. Alamo Heights. They should be way higher on this list. They are so freaking good.
Yeah.
Alamo Heights and Coach Rittiman, like, this is just another Coach Rittiman squad who is just tough as nails. And you remember when, I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe last week, I said DK Garza might be better and has made the biggest improvement of anybody in our area.
And that's saying something. It's like up from up.
Yeah, 368 yards and 6 touchdowns for DK Garza last week against Churchill. They won 54-24 over Churchill. Like, that's video game numbers.
They got dudes on top of dudes, as we saw last year, even when they had the dude.
Yeah, I would put Alamo Heights way higher, especially over Piper, who's a separate 5A team, and they're 1-1. Alamo Heights is 2-0, and convincing 2-0. They won 70-35 and 54-24. I would put them way higher on this list. And plus, since Piper only beat Bernie by 4 points. So, I mean, there's nothing against Piper. I'm just saying Alamo Heights is shown that they're better so far this season. Clark is 2-0. They're number 10 in our TNL top 10. They defeated Stevens last week, 47-21. Next week this coming week they play East Central at Ferris on Friday.
Did you know that Clark hasn't beat East Central since 2002?
It's on my sheet.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Damn, he
chime in a little bit there.
He took my nugget
He
from
took
me.
the words right out of my mouth.
I was literally about to say that. All right, let's get to our TNL game of the week. John Jay versus South San, 2 5A teams. It's starting off district play tonight, 7 o'clock at Gustafson Stadium. On the CWSA, if you can't be there, even though we would prefer you to be there because you get to see our shining, beautiful faces and me stuffing my face full of pizza as I do every Thursday now because of the Little Caesars Thursday Night Lights.
Dude, 2 weeks in a row. Congrats on really big plays of sending the pizzas upstairs, too.
Well, last week I was running
it
out
has
of
not gone unnoticed.
Last week I was running out of the stadium. I was like, I got to bring pizza upstairs. Hold on.
That was very, very sweet of you. Thank you.
So South San, we'll start with South San because we weren't able to talk to Coach Gutierrez and John Jay on camera this week. So we'll start with South San, Coach Phil Baron, the third. He is in his 4th season, I think, over at South San. I have my notes right here from Chris Kotfus. He started in 2020, so it was actually his 5th season over at South San. Last year, they were 8-3. It had their best record since 1998. So he's got the guys over there playing much better than when he took over the program. Let's hear from Coach Barone and the guys before we chime in.
Yeah, I think it's just the experience our kids have that's kind of led us to our 2-0 start. A bunch of juniors, a bunch of seniors on the team that have been there before, and I think that's why we're at.
At this particular point in the season, as you get ready for district play, has anything surprised you? Has any group of these guys kind of even exceeded the expectations so far?
I think we've seen from the boys what we expected. A bunch of these boys had really good off seasons, really good summers. So I think that they're kind of meeting the standard and the expectation that they had in the fall and in summer, or in the spring and in summer.
Now you get ready to start district play, and obviously you're going up against one of the powerhouses in this district. Do you need to even say anything to these guys to get these guys even motivated for what they're going to face on Thursday night?
Yeah, we're 2-0, they're 2-0, and they've got a really good ball club over there. Coach Gutierrez has done a great job, and so it's a rematch from last year, and I think the boys are excited for it and ready to to play John Jay for the second round, and both being 2-0. So hopefully the result's a little bit different this year.
This is not a program that a whole lot of people in San Antonio, other than the South San faithful, know a whole lot about. This week you get a chance to showcase that talent on TNL. How special is that for you guys now that San Antonio will get to see a 2-0 South San team go up against a 2-0 John Jay team?
Every opportunity is special, like it could be little, it could be big. As long as it's football, it's a special opportunity. So.
Can't wait to watch him play tonight. Coach Barone tells a great story about him where he was in middle school and he said he was so tiny. He comes up to Barone and he says, "I'm going to be your quarterback someday." And Phil goes, "Yeah, sure, buddy. You can be the B team guy for now." And he said that kid has worked every year, gotten better and better and better, and just loves everything about that guy as his quarterback. And, guy called his shot, and here he is. So it's going to be a fascinating matchup tonight because both coaches really, really enjoy each other's company. They go back a long way. Of course, little running back from there. And, Gary's been at Jay for 1,000 years, it seems like.
2013, yeah.
And these guys win, man. They win. And both of these teams are really, really good. Jay's a little bit smaller than they have been. They're a little younger than they have been, but I'll be doggone if they don't find a way to win down there at John Jay.
I think in an honest moment, Coach Gutierrez would say that this team, not that this team is worse, but this team is a slight step back from the teams of a couple of years. I mean, you look at the team he had 2 years ago with his son at quarterback, and they were one of the best 5A teams in the state. Or, excuse me, they were 6A at that point. They moved to 5A last year. And last year, they were right there to win that district with Southwest, but Southwest was one of the best 5A teams in the state, and there was a reason because of the two hosses that they had on the outside and the skill position. So, and Coach Franco's son, obviously, as the quarterback. So you look at them this year, and right now maybe they're not at the point of continuity that they were over the last two seasons at this point, but I guarantee you by game 10, John Jay is going to be knocking on the door for at least probably a district title, and for sure a playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, you would expect both of these teams to be there at the end. I think it's fascinating that we get a game like this, both of these teams, like right out of the gate. It's one of those games for me, you kind of hope that would come down to the end of the season, both teams kind of duking it out or jockeying for playoff position, or maybe even to win the district title.
Well, it's one of the reasons we scheduled Jay and Southwest later in the season, because those two were the teams that were battling for a district title. South San had 2 losses in district last year, to Southwest and to John Jay. So this game very well could decide a district title, and it's pretty cool to see that's going to be on our air, and we're going to get to witness it firsthand.
Doggone right. 3rd straight week in a row, we don't have a single team that's played on TNL with a loss. So we're on a hot streak here to start.
Who's next week?
I don't know.
We really take
I'm
this
literally
1 week at a
one week at a time,
time.
bro.
Gary Gutierrez and his team, obviously 2-0. They are one of the best run teams that we have. They've had some really good players come out of that school. Jacob Zeno, just to name a few, or just to name one. They lost last year to New Braunfels in the first round, but they are always really, really good over at John Jay.
And Jay's got a linebacker.
Yeah, do you want to tell them about the MIT?
Yeah,
kid?
I won't give away the kid's name yet because I'd like to save some of this for the broadcast. But yeah,
you can give
he's
it
in the
away
robotics club. He's got a really high GPA. He plays the upright bass. How old school is that?
He's in orchestra, yeah.
And his goal is to play football at MIT. And I think it was news to both of us that MIT does have a football team, Division III.
Yeah, did you guys know that? You guys know MIT plays football?
Division III football.
I had no idea.
I had no clue.
But I mean, how cool is that you got a kid that multi-talented, that cultured, whatever. I mean, you put all that into one kid, and we're going to go watch him play football tonight.
And he's going to MIT, and it's his GPA is a 4.5. Like, I couldn't even dream of that.
No, me neither.
That's like 2 points away from where I was in high school.
I can't even spell it.
What'd you say? Alamo Heights and Clemens next
there
week.
You go.
Thank you.
We had Alamo Heights Clemens last year too.
Yeah,
it's the MIT engineers, of course.
Of course they are. Do you think they're really good at football?
No.
Or do you think they're really good at like field goals? They can calculate the trajectory and,
No.
and like.
No.
No, you don't think they're really good? What was it? Can you look it up? What was their record last year? Now I'm just curious. We've already gone down the rabbit hole.
We've spun off the rails once again.
Just stick
We
with
were
us here.
looking
If
up
you want,
MIT's football record.
what was
in
their record last
2024.
season?
Does it matter
It
when they're
matters-
going to be our bosses someday?
I know it matters to me.
Okay.
I just really want to know. Leave it to Bob,
Come on.
digital director over here.
Come on, Bob, you're the internet guy. They call you Cyber Bob for a reason, dude.
I'm gonna start looking it up, and it's gonna be way faster than this.
I know.
You kids in your
All I get is
internet
Ohio
savvy.
State.
You kids in your interweb.
Yeah, you kids in your intraweb.
Oh my God, I'm not finding it.
How do you not?
You're on Google search. That's the reason. They're blocking you.
Overall, 8-3.
Oh, look at that. They can
Wow.
play too. Of course they're good at football too.
What are you talking about? They were 3-6 last year. I don't even know what he's looking at.
Didn't even play 10 games.
8-3.
Had to study.
All right, maybe it is 8-3. One of us is right. They're either good or bad. It's anyway. This is off the rails. Let's get out of here.
You getting ready to play Creighton? Is that the
Tune us
Creighton
in.
logo I see from there?
No, that's not great.
I thought that was a Blue Jay I saw.
No, that's red.
I don't even know what that is.
Is it really? Wow.
Oh, my
I need to
God.
get my eyes checked.
All right, you need a nap. I need a nap.
Yeah, me too.
That's all we got for you today on the podcast. Remember to tune in tonight, Jay versus South San on CWSA. It's going to be really fun. We also stream it live on our Facebook pages and our YouTube pages, right, Bob?
Yes.
So helpful.
On the internet.
That's all we got for you today. Remember, download, rate, review, subscribe. Tune in tonight. Give us a tell a friend, tell an enemy. We will be back on Monday. We'll see you then.